Hey everyone, if you're listening to this, chances are you've been wrestling with data quality lately
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
and feeling like you're stuck in a maze.
A maze is right. It can be overwhelming.
Well, today we're diving deep into two approaches that might just be the answer to your prayers. Data products,
Okay.
and then there's data as a product.
Data?
Yeah, DaaP. Now, I know these sound kind of similar,
They do.
but trust me, the differences are huge.
Absolutely huge, especially when we're talking data quality.
Exactly. So let's untangle this, shall we?
Let's do it. And actually, you know what? A 2024 DBT Labs report found that a whopping 57% of companies
Whoa!
are struggling with data quality.
57%.
That's a lot. It's not just a tech headache either.
Right.
It impacts everything.
Decisions, customer experience.
The whole 9 yards.
It's true. And Product in Data.com had a really interesting take on the difference between these two approaches.
Oh yeah, what did they say?
Well, they highlighted how data products are kind of like
Like what?
specific tools built using data to tackle a particular problem.
Interesting.
Like, imagine a custom-built dashboard that visualizes your key metrics.
Oh, okay. So like a targeted solution.
Exactly, a targeted solution.
And that can be super powerful. Imagine your reporting system's a mess after a big system upgrade.
Oh, been there.
A well-designed data product, like a dashboard, could not only validate the data automatically, but bridge the gap between your old and new systems.
Okay, so it's like,
It's like having a translator for your data.
I like that. And everyone can understand it.
Suddenly, everyone can access the information they need.
No more deciphering spreadsheets from the Stone Age.
Exactly.
So data products, they're like targeted fixes for specific data problems.
I like that.
But where does DaaP fit in then?
Well, productandData.com also talked about how DaaP is less about a specific tool and more about shifting your whole perspective on data.
Oh, interesting.
Instead of seeing it as just a byproduct,
Yeah.
start treating your data as a valuable product.
Something you manage.
Something you refine,
Constantly.
like you would with any product you're selling.
It's like the difference between finding a random gold nugget
Right.
and realizing you've got a whole gold mine waiting to be explored.
I love that.
And mined.
And mine strategically. That's the key difference.
So with DaaP, you're not just fixing data quality issues here and there.
No,
You're creating a culture where data quality is everyone's responsibility.
you got it. It's bigger, more holistic.
Mind-blowing. But before we go down that rabbit hole, what are the downsides of sticking just with data products?
Good question. Data products are great for tackling specific challenges, but they can lead to what I call data silos.
Data silos.
Yeah, imagine having a toolbox full of specialized gadgets, but no strategy for how they all work together.
It's like having a fancy screwdriver when what you need is a hammer.
And then you buy the hammer and realize you're missing a wrench.
And suddenly your garage is overflowing with tools, but you still can't build anything.
Exactly. It's a common trap.
And then there's the human element.
Oh, don't get me started.
People can be resistant to new tools, even if they are better.
It's true.
Picture this.
Yeah.
You invest in a cutting-edge dashboard,
Yeah.
only to have executives clinging to their old, clunky spreadsheets.
Oh, the pain. It happens all the time.
Makes me cringe just thinking about it. Okay, but if DaaP is about this total mindset shift,
It is.
isn't it way more resource-intensive than just building a data product?
That's a great question and a valid concern. Yeah, implementing a full-blown DaaP strategy, it does require some investment.
Resources, people, all that.
Yeah, especially when we're talking expertise, putting data governance structures in place.
Right.
It can feel overwhelming, especially for smaller organizations, those without a dedicated data team.
I can imagine.
It's a bit like trying to build a Netflix-level data operation with a shoestring budget.
And like one person.
Exactly, a
Yeah.
team of one.
A recipe for disaster.
Pretty much.
Okay, but I'm still kind of stuck on how DaaP naturally leads to better data quality.
It's not magic.
It sounds like magic.
But it's not. It's about creating the right incentives.
Okay.
When you treat data as a product, you're automatically incentivized to monitor it
And improve it.
constantly.
Like with a physical product.
Exactly. You wouldn't just put a product out there and forget about it, right?
Right.
You'd be getting feedback, refining it, making sure it's the best it can be.
So with DaaP, we're applying that same product mindset to our data.
You got it. Always enhancing its value, making sure it's serving its purpose.
Moving from reactive to proactive.
Exactly. From just fixing errors as they pop up.
To constantly evaluating and improving data quality.
It's a whole different ballgame.
I'm getting it, I think.
Okay.
But can you give me a real-world example of how DaaP works in practice? I'm still a bit fuzzy on the details.
Think about a company like Amazon.
Okay.
They treat their product data like gold. constantly refining it, making sure it's accurate, up to date.
And presented in a way that's helpful.
Exactly. Everything from detailed product descriptions to high-quality images,
Customer reviews.
personalized recommendations, the works.
So they're not just throwing a bunch of data at the wall and hoping it sticks.
Not at all. They're treating that data as a core part of their product offering.
Constantly refining it to enhance the customer experience.
And it pays off. Customers trust the information they see on Amazon.
Which leads to...
More sales, increased customer loyalty.
So data quality directly impacts their bottom line.
Absolutely. And it's not just about product information. This mindset can be applied to any kind of data.
Financial data, customer data.
Operational data, you name it.
DaaP principles can help you make sure your data is an asset, not a liability.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got data products, which are like specialized tools.
Targeted solutions.
And then we've got DaaP, which is more like a philosophy.
What are you thinking about data?
Like productanddata.com said, it's not always about choosing one over the other.
Sometimes it makes sense to start with a data product
To address an immediate need.
and then gradually shift towards a more DaaP-oriented approach.
As your organization grows and matures,
Right, it's not all or nothing.
finding the right balance for your situation.
Or like learning to cook.
Oh, I like this analogy.
You might start by following simple recipes, then as you get more confident,
You start experimenting.
adding your own flair, developing your own signature dishes.
Love it. But even with the best recipe, things can go wrong in the kitchen.
That's true.
What are some of the potential pitfalls of DaaP that we need to watch out for?
One of the biggest challenges is getting buy-in from everyone in the organization.
Yeah, makes sense.
DaaP requires a cultural shift, and people can be resistant to change.
Especially if they're used to doing things a certain way.
It's not just about implementing new technologies.
It's about changing mindsets.
It's about changing how people think about data.
And that takes time.
It's a process. You got to communicate the benefits clearly.
Provide training.
Support.
Celebrate successes along the way.
Exactly. Bring people along on the journey.
Show them how it benefits them directly.
You know what this reminds me of? Data culture.
Oh, data culture, that buzzword.
It's more than a buzzword.
What does it actually mean in the context of data products and DaaP?
Data culture is about the shared values, beliefs, and behaviors that shape how an organization uses and manages data.
So it's not just about having the right tools, it's about having the right mindset.
The right practices.
And Product and Data.com, they really highlighted this, talking about how with DaaP, you have to think about data from everyone's perspective.
Everyone involved.
Understanding how it's collected, its impact on users.
How different teams are consuming it.
So it's not just about making data clean, it's about making sure it's used ethically.
Responsibly.
How does that play into the success of data products and DaaP?
Well, for a data product to be effective, people need to understand its purpose.
How to use it, how to interpret the results.
Exactly. If you have a team that's resistant to change, skeptical of data,
They're not going to embrace that new dashboard, no matter how fancy it is.
it'll just sit there gathering dust.
Digital dust bunny.
And the same goes for DaaP. If you don't have a culture of data quality,
Ownership.
you're not going to get the full benefits,
DaaP is all about treating data like a valuable product.
which requires a collective mindset shift.
It's not just about having a few data experts tucked away.
It's about embedding data-driven thinking into the very fabric of the organization.
Everyone needs to understand their role in maintaining data quality.
Using data responsibly.
Creating a shared understanding of data as a valuable asset.
Not a burden.
And that's where things get really interesting. So we've talked about data products, we've talked about DaaP,
Like two powerful approaches.
but they're only as good as the people using them.
And the culture around them.
Right. How do we make sure all this translates into tangible results, not just fancy dashboards that nobody uses?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We need to connect data to decision-making.
Decisions, yeah.
It's not enough to just have insights. We have to make sure they're actually being used.
It's like having a map but never looking at it while you're driving.
Exactly. What's the point of the map if it doesn't influence where you go?
So how do data products and DaaP help with that?
Well, imagine a well-designed data product, like a dashboard.
Tracking those KPIs.
It becomes a tool that empowers decision makers.
They can actually see the impact of their choices.
Instead of relying on gut feeling or anecdotes,
They're making decisions based on data.
data that everyone can understand.
And with DaaP, that emphasis on data quality and accessibility.
Means decision makers are more likely to trust the data.
and feel confident acting on it.
It's about making data the foundation for decision-making.
Not an afterthought.
Exact.
So it's not enough to just have data. It needs to be reliable,
Relevant,
accessible to the right people at the right time.
Makes sense. But we also need to foster a culture of curiosity, right?
Absolutely. Encourage people to ask questions,
Test assumptions.
explore new possibilities with the data.
So it's not just about finding answers.
It's about asking better questions.
Challenging the status quo.
And remember, data is always changing.
It's not static.
The insights you have today might be outdated tomorrow. So we need to be agile.
Adaptable.
It's like a continuous feedback loop.
You use data to make decisions, you track the results.
You learn from it, and then use those learnings to make better decisions.
Constantly refining, constantly improving.
That's how you become a truly data-driven organization.
Always learning, adapting, evolving.
It's been amazing. But before we wrap up,
Yes.
let's bring it back to our listener.
The person struggling with data quality, trying to make it work for them.
What's the key takeaway here?
Both DataProducts and DaaP are valuable tools.
They can help us improve data quality.
Drive better decisions.
But it's not about choosing one over the other.
It's about understanding their strengths and limitations.
Finding the right fit for your organization.
Your culture, your needs.
Don't forget about the people, the processes.
It's not just about the technology.
Invest in data literacy.
Build a strong data governance framework.
Create a data-driven decision-making culture.
All of that is crucial.
So, as you navigate the world of data,
stay curious.
keep asking questions.
Don't underestimate the power of data.
This has been an incredible deep dive
Into data products and DaaP Share.
Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time for another exciting data adventure.